Alright, one thing. This is really not an insult. And another thing is, like, when I thought my wife, because like I said, I'm primarily freaking codependent, right? When I found my wife, when I was first investigating, this is what first got me into psychology, but it was a long freaking time ago. That's why I don't understand as much about this. Now, several years ago, some lady developed a treatment for this, therapy, called dialectic behavior therapy. And I sent you a text about that. And it was when we were not really getting along too well, which sucks. But the thing is about this is much treatable than this. These people are almost never treatable. I would say, almost an expert at this. I mean, I don't have a degree, I don't have a piece of paper, but I'm almost an expert at true narcissistic personality disorder. Not the shit you see online about narcissists. Like, everybody has narcissistic tendencies, especially in our culture today. But I want you to know that this is not an insult. I'm saying myself. I just went down that list, and I display, like, many of these tendencies, like 1 through 9, that I did before. I'm telling you what happens between borderlines and narcissists. I read a book about it in the 1990s. What happens is they get into this freaking cycle and this freaking dance that feeds into each other. Because one has a fear of abandonment and one needs narcissistic supply. And it's a bad fucking mix. It's a bad mix. You know, when I first started talking to you, I told you to do whatever you can to save your family. You went back to him the first time. I'm like, oh, that's great. Even though, I was feeling some, hurt, jealousy, stuff like that. But I was actually glad. I was truly glad for you and your family. And then all of a sudden, in between that time and the next time, I was like, holy shit. No, this isn't good. This is abuse. And these people are very abusive. I find it very hard when people say these people are abusive. Now, in their states where they get, they have these intense outbursts of anger and stuff like that, some people could consider it abusive. But it's not. In general, if you understand where it comes from, if you understand it really does come from a fear of abandonment and a fear of loss of the people that you care about. But the thing is I'm trying not to blame you, and I know you're not probably the easiest person to live with. But the way you react to it is the way he's reacted, violently throwing you down the stairs. I don't care. Even if you were in one of those rages and were violent against him, you don't do that shit. I've been there. Alright? You don't do that shit. All the physical abuse you've taken, those pictures you sent me, And the thing is, the manipulation and everything that's gone behind the scenes, instead of understanding this and taking care of it and learning how to fucking cope with it, and being, well, I'm not going to get into that. I just don't want you to sit here and go, well, this is all my fault, because it's not. It's not at all. There's abuse and there's understanding. And I've definitely had my moments. And again, this isn't about us getting back together, if we are ever really together. It's about you can't go back to an abuser, and this whole narcissistic borderline dance, because they're two different psyches play on each other's weaknesses. Like I said, there was a whole book written about it. I read in the 70s, in the 90s. But I want to let you know, I'm not expecting to get back to this. I'm not expecting to get back to this, because I'm not amazing. I'm just me. I'm not the best. And I have missed you. I've missed you too. I missed you a lot. I know you put me in this black-white category, but that's the black-white. It's called splitting. I mean, there's a lot more I could go on about this, because I do know a lot about it, but it's called splitting. So you take a person, let's call him me, right? And then at first, what happens is I'm idealized. I'm perfect. I'm amazing. I'm the best. And then somehow I did with you. And then somehow I trigger something that sets off that fear of abandonment. And then, boom, I'm suddenly transported into bad guy, black, right? I understand. I've done things to trigger that. And discard what you or discarded. I'm not like saying anything new here. I mean, this isn't stuff I made up. But I think you can see yourself. I hope you can see yourself in the now the thing is about those 9 things I listed. Out of the 9, and again, this isn't a bad thing. I don't want you to, most people are like, oh, you're call me crazy, you call me this. I just want the best for you in the long run. I want you to have stable relationships. I want you to have good relationships with your kids. I care about you. I care about you more than you freaking know. I really do. I'm not I'm not lying. I've only cared about, a certain amount of people in my life. And certainly I care about you as deeply as I have. I told you when I got back from Florida, 2 out of the 3 people I cared about the most in the world, all of a sudden my relationship's fucked up with 2 of them. It was like my life fell apart. I'm like, what the hell's happening? What is happening? And I know I didn't do all the right things and everything else. But it's like, well, I don't trust you enough to tell you I'm going to South Carolina with this person. And it's like, what the fuck? 3 days before I left, I didn't understand. Maybe it was that phone call. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because, like I said, this isn't about that. This is about me being your friend. But anyways, out of those 9 things that I told you about, in order to get this diagnosis, you only need 5. And you take 5 boxes. And from what I've seen and what I've experienced, there have been things that I've experienced with you that take all 9. 9 out of 9. And like I said, I think I got at least 8 out of 9. But the good thing is, as you get older, it alleviates a little bit because your emotions get regulated, your hormones settle down. The other good thing is, I think I was saying when I first started studying this, like years and years ago, they're like, oh, there's no friggin' treatment. It's just they get older and they calm down. But now this lady who had BPD, doctor, developed something called dialectic behavioral therapy. And it's different. It's different than CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, which I really don't have a lot of time for, but I don't know that much about it, but it sounds like bullshit to me. The only thing that's been proven effective. I got it. Luke, come on down.